Thank you for joining me in our Lunch and Earn series. Today we'll talk about the importance of knowing if you're listed as additionally insured on your owner's rental dwelling insurance, and why if you're not, it might end up costing you a lot of money if a tenant sues you. It's a topic you probably haven't given much attention to before, but with the lawsuits on the rise, you really should. But first, some introductions. I'm Dave Holt. I've been in the property management business for more than 35 years, and I'm deeply committed to our industry and helping my fellow colleagues grow and protect their business. That's why we describe our services at SureVestor as being by property managers for property managers. First, let's discuss the difference between additional insured and additional interest. If you're listed as additional insured on your owner's dwelling policy, that's good news. What that means is when a tenant names your management company in a lawsuit, you're financially protected by the insurance company, same as the owner. Being listed as additional interest might sound good, but it doesn't protect you financially. All it means is that you'll be notified if the policy lapses, gets canceled, or otherwise is not enforced. To be clear, additional insured is good news. Additional interest does not protect your financial interest if a tenant sues you. Now let's face it, you never know when a tenant might sue. And when it happens, the tenant's attorney is going to name both the landlord and the management company as defendants. Now, most management agreements require the owner to list the management company as additional insured, but unfortunately, that's rarely the case these days. Because in reality, even if your owner goes to bat for you, there are fewer and fewer insurance companies that will add you as additionally insured. Shocking, right? Now, some say they can't list you as additionally insured because you don't have an insurable interest. Now, they're saying this as a company policy because they don't want to have to defend you. Even though you don't have an ownership interest in the property, you certainly have a financial one and therefore an insurable interest. So what happens if you're not listed as additionally insured on your owner's dwelling policy? Just to be super clear, because I don't want you to be caught off guard. If a landlord does not get you named as additional insured and there's a lawsuit, you may have to come out of pocket to pay your own legal defense. Then you will more than likely have to sue your owner to recover these costs. It's time consuming and can cost you more than money. It could end up costing you the relationship. Now you may be thinking, why do I care? I've never been sued. Well, here was a case from a longtime fellow property manager who thought that. He did nothing wrong, but was still named in the lawsuit. In this case, the plaintiff was seeking $1 million for damages, and as you can see, a host of different things. Now, this property manager was not listed as additionally insured on his owner's policy. His E&O and general liability insurance said they don't cover personal injuries that happen at the property. So it was denied, and he was left paying for his own legal defense. So the first thing I want you to do after you leave here today is check your management agreement and see if it requires that you're listed as additionally insured. Now here's the question. If you're listed as additionally insured on one of your properties, does that mean you're protected on every property you manage? Well, obviously the answer is no. We call this the exposure index. Now, SureVestor has done an audit on many property management companies recently, and the number who are covered as additionally insured is shockingly low. If you're only covered with, say, 25% of your properties, your exposure index is quite high. And that may even cost you your business one day. But don't worry, not all is lost. Now there's an easy solution. Introducing SureVestor's Master General Liability Policy. And guess what? It won't cost you a penny. In this video, we'll explain the Master General Liability Insurance Policy. Now, 3 things to keep in mind. It protects you financially. It gets paid by the property owner, so there's no cost to you. And it even generates a new revenue stream for you. So let's take a listen.
Let's say a tenant slips and falls, or sues the landlord for an injury that happens on a property you manage. Chances are, the owner is covered by their dwelling policy. That's good news for them, but what about you? If you're named on the lawsuit, but you're not named on the owner's dwelling policy as additional insured, you could be on the hook for a very expensive legal battle. Oh, and don't be fooled by the phrase additional interest. It's basically just a courtesy, meaning you'll be notified of policy changes. So if you are sued, you're faced with the lose-lose proposition of covering your defense costs and suing your owner if you want to get reimbursed, which can lead to you losing that customer. The truth is, it's hard to get named on their policies, and insurance companies are not going to make it any easier. That's where we come in. SureVestor created Master General Liability Insurance to solve the problem we property managers face when we can't get named on an owner's dwelling policy. We make it easy for property managers to receive $1 million in liability coverage at no cost to you. Plus, you can gain an additional revenue stream by charging an admin fee per property. You never know when you will be named in a lawsuit. Let SureVestor cover you for up to $1 million for most third-party bodily injury and property damage that happens at the property location. Master General Liability Insurance, exclusively from SureVestor. Schedule your free consultation to find out about all the ways we help property managers expand their offerings. SureVestor. Insurance, innovation, inspiration.
So let's go through the benefits. We have $1 million of liability coverage for you and your owner. The program only costs the owners on average $10 per month. Now, to get the rates in your state, just email us at info@SureVestor.com. It's zero deductible, which even includes dog bites, and it creates a new income stream with a monthly administration fee. And you're financially protected when a tenant is hurt on the property that you're managing and sues. And SureVestor is the only place in the United States where you can get this solution. Now, remember when I said SureVestor was created by property managers for property managers? We know how to make it easy for you to implement. As property managers ourselves, we designed it to be simple and have created all the resources with step-by-step implementation. We have the addendums and clause for your property management agreement. We have flyers for your owners. We have the email templates to be introducing the program. We even have a video that you could give to your owner explaining why you need to be listed as additionally insured. So how does it work? Your owners actually have three options. Now, hopefully you already have the condition in your management agreement for your owners to add you as additionally insured. So option one is for them to add you. Option two is they do nothing and you automatically add them to your master policy through SureVestor. Now, option three is they can get dwelling coverage through SureVestor or another insurance company that will add you as additionally insured. No matter which option they choose, you're covered in the case of a costly tenant injury lawsuit. So in summary, tenant lawsuits are on the rise. Insurance companies don't like to name property managers as additionally insured on the owner's dwelling policy. And SureVestor now has a solution that provides you with $1 million in coverage at no cost to you. So give yourself some peace of mind and an additional revenue stream. To get started, visit us at SureVestor.com or email us at info@SureVestor.com or simply scan the QR code here. Now, let's get into some questions.
All righty. If you have any specific questions, just go to the bottom on Q&A, and Mike and I will answer any questions that you have. Again, we will be sending you a recording of this so you can listen to it again or share with your team. But any questions, again, put it in the Q&A. I'm not seeing any at the moment. Okay, here we go. All right, thank you, thank you. All right, Mike, do you want to start reading these off and I can answer them? Are you, no, you're muted. No, can't hear you again. All right, well, let me see. So how does the admin fee work? So Because you're part of what we call our risk purchasing group, you can legally charge an administration fee for this. This is charged on a monthly basis. So what you're doing is you're putting this in your management agreement. Again, we have the addendum or the clause. If you have an insurance clause in your agreement right now, we just have the extension of that. So it says to the owner exactly what needs to happen. And if they don't list you as additionally insured, they're going to be put on your master policy. Then you can also add, because of that, you can add an administration fee. Now, because of antitrust, we can't talk fees specifics. So I can't tell you what to charge. It just needs to be reasonable. But you can add an administration fee to the monthly payment. What if we manage, say, 30 properties for one owner? I'm assuming Harold, hi Harold again. It's actually per property. So it's not a bulk if they own multiple properties. It's the same thing as if that owner had the liability portion in their dwelling. It's going to be the same thing. They're paying for each property for that. And so it's a payment for each property. Can we start out small? Absolutely, Kathy. You can start with one property. Doesn't matter. We have no size limit as far as number of properties that you can add to it. Let's see, how much does a policy like this cost? So we, as I mentioned in the video, it's on average about $10 per month, but it varies by state. Now that's average around the country. So it really depends on your location. And I'm not going to take time here of explaining or answering what the rates are in specific states. Just email Mike. Probably the best place would be info@SureVestor.com. Just give them your state and he'll give you the rate. All right, let's see. Jesus, let's see. Once the owner gets insured, when does the policy take effect? Well, the policy, what's going to happen, if you go to info or go to SureVestor.com, you'll see up at the top, it says property managers, and you go down in that menu. There's master general liability. You can sign up. There is an underwriting. It's not complicated. They're filling out a short form, and that'll go to our carrier, and the underwriter will review that. There might be some specific questions that we come back to you with, but it usually only takes a couple days, and then you'll be sent the policy, and then you can start. So really right away after you're approved, after it's approved. How do you get an owner to pay $10 a house? Well, so Phil, what you're going to be doing with this is you're going to be setting it up in your management agreement as the criteria. Now, I'm assuming as property managers, most of you already have in your management agreement the requirement that they list you as additionally insured. So now you're just extending that, and we give you the verbiage that you can share with your attorney if you'd like. But all it's saying is that if they don't or aren't able to get you listed, because we're finding that most insurance companies aren't doing that anymore. So if they don't get you listed, you're going to be putting them on your master policy. Now you can give them a time frame. Like in my management company, I give my new owners 15 days. And the nice thing is the reporting to us is in arrears. So you have some time. So for example, January's policies were due at the beginning of February. So right now, if you sign somebody up, you literally have through the end of the month to report it to us, which is nice. But that's how you do it with your current owners. You're just introducing the new the new program. Again, you have in your management agreement to be listed as additionally insured. Now you're just saying, look, we understand that many of you haven't been able to get us listed as additionally insured, but no worries, we have a solution, and here's the solution. And again, we have the email templates to send that out. All right. I thought this started at noon. Sorry, Sue. I'm not sure what location. You're probably Pacific time, but it was I'm not sure, but it was 2 Central time. So again, we will be sending out a recording. of this, so you'll be able to watch it in the entirety. So for those who did join late, don't worry about it. You'll be getting a recording here in the next day or so. All right. Michael, policy covers tenant injuries. Yes. Does that include guests of the tenant or other occupants of the property? Yes. How long does the policy take to be issued from the point, Joshua, I just mentioned that. But if you have anything further, again, just email Mike at info@SureVestor.com. I had an Allstate agent tell me additional interest and additional insured are interchangeable. Terms and their verbiage of the policy still covers the PM. Is that possible? Melissa, no, that's not possible. That's just one of those agents that doesn't understand the difference between additional insured and additional interest. So they are different. Additional interest does not extend the financial protection for you. That's why you need to be listed as additionally insured. There is a big difference. Now, we can help you discern the difference in your policies because not all policies are the same. So for example, a lot of the standard clauses will say additional interest, but you need them to add that your management company is additional insured. And so I've been able to do that many times. You just explain to your agent that somewhere on that information that they're giving you, it's either an accord form, a deck page, something that lists you as additionally insured. So even though their form might say additional interest, somewhere has to say additional insured. It could say interested party. It could say, there's a couple other things that they have, but additionally insured is the language that needs to say. And so I'll just have an agent add that right to the policy wording. All right. Of the three options mentioned, the second to add the owner to the master policy is the one master policy or master policy for each property. Brooke, it's one master policy. So you're just reporting to us, everybody who's on it for that at the end of each month. It's pretty simple. And we can certainly help you. We give you the format for that. It's very easy. Does your policy cover ME specifically or my brokerage? I see. I thought that was an abbreviation for something. It does cover your management company. So now if you're the property manager for that management company, they're going to be suing the management company. My owner has 160 properties. Phil, I'm not sure what the question is. That's fine. If he had to get general liability on 160 properties, it's going to cost them many thousands of dollars, I would assume. So you could certainly compare, but hopefully on that, he's got a good policy that the agents will list you as additionally insured, and then doesn't matter. If you get listed as additionally insured, you don't have to have them on the master policy. That's the point. The point is that we have a hard time getting listed as additionally insured. And when we were doing audits on management companies, we're finding that so far the best that we have found is 25%, that they were actually listed on 25% of the properties that they manage. That's why we came up with this master policy, because you're not protected on all your properties. Now, if this owner, Phil, lists you as additionally insured, no problem. How about tenants' rental insurance? Can PMs be put on as additionally insured? Joe, yes, they can, but you really don't need to be listed as additionally insured on, say, a tenant liability insurance. There you want to be listed as additional interest, so you're notified if they cancel it. So, for example, the situation typically is when they get renter's insurance, and some of you might have a requirement that they have to have renter's insurance and list you as additionally insured. You don't need to be additionally insured, because this is specifically, when you're talking about tenant liability, is for things that they cause against your owner's properties, the damage. So they accidentally cause a fire, accidentally cause some flooding, clog up a toilet or a sink, that overflows and damages the floor, the ceiling below, those types of things. So your owner's insurance doesn't have to respond. That's a whole nother program. We will be doing a lunch and earn on that one. It's a tenant liability insurance, but Joe, you can certainly reach out to Mike at info@SureVestor.com and he can go over the specifics on that, because it's not, it's different than what we're talking about here, but valid question. All right, the presentation only mentions injury, dog bites. What about other liabilities for discrimination, tenant claims, loss, unsafe habitability property? So yeah, this is really for injury when you're talking about general liability. Now you would have potentially E&O or your owner for things that you caused. Well, let's say it's a wrongful eviction or something like that, discrimination, you can get insurance on that type of stuff. But general liability is pretty much for the injury when that happens on the property. All right. Do you offer E&O and general liability for property management companies in addition to coverage for specific properties under the master? We do not, Christine. We do the general liability. We also do the master tenant liability that I just mentioned to Joe just a few minutes ago. And we have a landlord protection policy, which covers loss of rent, malicious damage, theft, damage due to theft, lockbox coverage if you're doing self-showing, covers the eviction costs if you have to evict the tenant, those type of things. We also have recordings on that. So we could certainly send that to you if you're interested. Again, just email us info@SureVestor.com. But we do have, as I mentioned in the recording, we do have a dwelling policy. So if your owner wants to get a quote, because it'll automatically be on the general liability portion, so we'll get the quote on just the building. So it really is a reduced cost, and that you may want to compare that way. If we had a property on our master policy, because they failed to add us as additionally insured, don't they have to sign documents? No, there's nothing that they have to sign. It's just a condition in your management agreement that they need to add you. Now we're going to give you the verbiage to say if they don't or can't, because most of the time it's because they can't get you listed from their insurance company. Now you don't have to force them to change insurance companies or do nothing, and now you're not protected financially if there's a lawsuit. Now you just put them on the master policy and you're protected. And they also have $1 million of protection as well. All right, so does the owner then start the policy? I'm not sure what the question, and pay for it, or does it go in our name and we charge the owners? So the master policy is in the property management company name, but you're charging your owners monthly for that plus your administration fee. All right, so you'll just set up a chart of account and we can assist you with that as well. And you're just charging that on the monthly basis. Now I use software called Propertyware for my management company. And so I just have an auto charge that I create, and it just lists all the property management or the properties that are on it. And I have that charge. And so it automatically each month will charge that for me. And most management softwares do something similar, but we can assist you in getting that set up if you need. Do I need to be on the owner's insurance master policy as additionally insured to qualify for SureVestor's insurance? No. The point is that if you can't get listed as additionally insured, then you put your owner or your owner's property on the master policy through us. Question was put on Q&A. Can the property manager be put on as additionally insured? Will it have, I'm sure it has, but will it have the same input as if on the landlord's policy? So when you're on the master, when you put them on the master policy, it's it's not additionally insured. Okay. You're asking your owners to put you on their dwelling policy as additionally insured. But if they can't do that, then they're on the master policy. So you get the same coverage and probably better coverage, because many dwelling policies don't have $1 million of liability protection. And so take a look at your policies that you're getting from your owners, and you'll probably find out that the liability portions might only be 300 or even 500,000. So you'd really want to be $1 million. And that's where our master policy extends and actually gives $1 million of protection there. So, but it's not additionally insured. Additionally insured is when you get named additionally on your owner's policy. So you get the same protection as your owner does from the liability portion. All right. Now, if the agents come back and said they won't list you, sometimes I'll just say, look, just list this as on the liability portion. I don't need to be listed on the building. So if there's a fire, I don't need to be additionally insured on the building, just on the liability portion. And I've got agents to do that. What is the certificate holder? Thanks, Kathy. Certificate holder is basically the same as additional interest. Now, again, on the forms, they'll list, and typically they'll have either a section and it'll say additional interest, or it might say certificate holder. Now, if you're a certificate holder, all that means is the same as additional interest. You're going to be notified. So if there's any changes, lapses in policy, cancellations, things like that, it does not extend that financial protection that you're looking for that additional insured would. Okay. So if it says on the policy certificate holder, get them to put somewhere on there that you're additionally insured. And again, I've gotten agents to do that many times. On the tenant's insurance policy, that's Joy, there's no question there. I'm not sure what that is. Just reach out to Mike, info@SureVestor.com. Do the tenants need to additionally insure the owner or management company? No. Again, I think that's going back to the tenant insurance, and you just need to know if they're canceling that policy. It's a different concept there. If we add a property to our master policy because the owner fails to add us as additionally insured, don't they have to sign? Okay, no, that's the same thing. No, they don't have to sign anything. But what you're going to be having is that clause in your management agreement. So they're signing the management agreement. For current owners, I'm assuming that many of you have in your management agreements that you can change the terms of the management agreement with proper notice. So say a 30 or 60-day notice, and then you're just sending them a change, and this is the change. If you don't have that in your management agreement, then you may have to do a whole new management agreement with your owners. But you have a good attorney, they already put that in your management agreement that you have the right to make changes to the terms with a notice. Okay, what is the name of the company or insurance entity that is backing your master policy? Thanks, Brooke. It's called Markel. Now, Markel is one of the largest carriers in the world. They typically are writing through subsidiary type of agencies. There's a whole number of them that they write through that you'd probably heard of, but Markel, if you want to look them up, they're huge. How involved does the owner need to be during the setup? Can property managers set up without owner cooperation? Well, Don, yes. Again, it's a condition of your management agreement. So you're putting these terms in the management agreement. You already have one term. The condition is they have to list you as additionally insured. Now you're adding to that clause that if they don't within a certain period of time, you're going to add them to the policy. They're signing that management agreement, so they're cooperating with you. They're agreeing to that. What if the owner does not want the SureVestor insurance, but I want the protection? can I purchase the insurance as a property manager? Jesus, yes, you can. And we do have some property managers that will actually pay for this as a benefit. But for me, I don't like to have to pay for it. So I have my owners pay for it, and then I add an administration fee, so it becomes a revenue source as well. Can we find the verbiage in our property management agreement on your website? Kathy, probably not on the website, but what you could do is just reach out to Mike and he could send you that. And then when you sign up, of course, and there's no cost to sign up. We just give you all of those resources and the step-by-step instructions with all the addendums, the flyers, all of those. Anyway, so you just go ahead and sign up and we'll send it to you. Does the coverage include protection from owner where owner attempts to sue property manager for owner's neglect that may lead to tenant injury? It's really for a tenant injury, or maybe even a leasing agent that's showing the property and gets hurt, something like that. But if the owner is suing you, that's a different thing, because the owner isn't living or residing in the property. So that would probably come under your E&O or something. It depends on what the situation would be. But if there was a tenant injury, yes, that's what this is for. If we are added by the owner as additionally insured, are we notified of any changes to the policy? Like if they remove us or switch us? Yes, Melissa. So additional interest, you will get notified, but if you're additionally insured, you certainly will be, because now you're additionally insured. So if there's any changes, lapses, cancellations in the policy, you'll certainly get notified. Anything else? Was that it? Any other questions? Great questions. Thank you. Thank you. If you have any further questions, again, just email Mike, info@SureVestor.com. If you want to email him directly, he gets all of those. It's just easier to remember than Mike Huber at SureVestor.com, but either one will work. Either one goes right to him. So if there's no other questions, again, we have recorded this. I'm going to stop the recording.